So this is a pretty good image of what's happening out there, right? On some subtle level, every action that happens out in the cosmos and on Earth as well, everything that's happening is creating this little ripple in the gravitational field, which again, we're going to steer away from like quantum realm today because that's just a whole other thing. But we start to see how everything, you can't change anything without changing everything. And the butterfly effect, one little flap of those wings sends out this ripple that amplifies and interacts and changes the vibratory frequency, which then changes the geometric structure, which then changes the facts of our lived and observable experience. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah. And so it's no wonder that this is what Earth actually looks like.
What?
Yeah. Earth is not a perfect sphere. It's this oblong, pear-shaped, wonky thing. Yeah.
Why does it look like a sphere when we take pictures of it in space?
It's a good question. Because all those pictures are faked by NASA because it's actually flat? No, that's not a good answer. No. Well, because it's spherical, right? It's a spheroid. And
it looks so lumpy.
Yeah. Yeah. And because even like on a good day, Earth is way wider at the equator than it is, like it's a squished thing, right? Because the angular momentum, because of the spin that keeps the central part bulging out. So this is a computer generated model of the Earth's actual shape. And if you think about like the lava that's in there, it makes sense that it bulges. Like think about spinning your cup of water, and it's sort of like, or like what am I thinking of? There's a top, right, where it sort of bulges and then it wobbles, and Earth does wobble on its axis, doesn't it? So again, this is the pulsative asymmetry, is this. And so contained in this is a lot of permission to be imperfect. Because if the Earth can't even be a sphere, if a year can't even be a perfect circle, what are you trying to do being perfect? It's not gonna happen. So don't worry about it. Let it be messy. Time is messy. Space is messy. And so this is the difference between our metaphysical, archetypal, mythological shape of the Earth, which is spherical, right? We can imagine that Earth is a perfect sphere. And we can only notice that it's not because we can imagine that it's perfect. And the reality of things, the existence, when things go from the archetypal into the actual, it gets messy because there's time going by and there's waves coming from every direction, right? There's no such thing as a pure frequency, because even if you hit the purest note, it's getting sideswiped by somebody else's note. There's traffic in the background. There's this, there's that. And so the fact that Earth remains even spherical at all is kind of a miracle. And so one of the things we'll get into in the next sections is about spherical reality and the importance of spheres and nested spheres, and the fact that reality is basically a set of nested spheres. And there's all these stacks and stacks upon stacks upon stacks of these vibratory frequency, which are generating geometric structures, which then define our experience. And if we know that, then we are empowered to do it on purpose. And this is where religions emphasize the power of the word. And so we have mantra, primary practice, and whether you're praying the rosary or you're saying some sort of Sanskrit mantra, or you've got your own mantra that you just repeat to yourself, super powerful. This is how sound healing works. They're using sound to dissolve tumors. It's like the way noise canceling headphones work, right? Like there's a little sensor in the outside of the headphone that hears the frequency of noise coming in, and then it just produces and emits the inverse frequency, right? It's like a sine cosine thing, and it negates it. And so you can do the same thing with a tumor. You can do the same thing with it's how opera singers break a wine glass. You hit that harmonic frequency because the apparently solid structure also has a vibratory frequency, and if you hit it just right, dissolved. This is how acoustic weapons work. There's a huge thing like riot police have acoustic weapons where people are just getting blasted and you can't actually hear it, but all of a sudden you're going insane and you have to get away from it. It's one of the most violent applications of this understanding possible. That for me is some apocalyptic nonsense right there. But that again, this is just straight power, and how you apply it is up to you. And the other thing I think about this is I think about whales and the way that whale song permeates the oceans, and how, like, what does that do for the structure of the planet? Like what impact does whale song have on the health of the oceans, on, you know, the flow of the what are they called, the flows of the currents? Yeah. How does, and like on like a more metaphysical level as well, like lots of cultures know the whales as the wisdom keepers or the record keepers, the ones who keep the memories of the planet. And so yeah, like what are they singing about? And think about the size of those wavelengths traveling hundreds of miles around the planet through the water, which is the emotional body of the planet. Like so that's something that we can just go so deep with the power of sound. Famous story in the Vedic tradition is Hanuman, the monkey god, is the great devotee of Lord Brahma. And Hanuman goes to Lord Brahma and says, "Oh, Lord Brahma, you're the great perfect king, but there's one thing more powerful than you." And Lord Brahma's like, "Hanuman, like, it's a little disrespectful. You know, you're not my number one guy, so I'll listen, but like, hey man, like it's kind of insulting." And Hanuman's like, "Well, yeah, your name is more powerful than you are, because the moment I say your name, you are there. And so I can cause you to take form just by saying your name." And all of a sudden we have the science behind that, because saying the word literally creates the structure. And this is the understanding that the Vedas teach us, and the importance of proper pronunciation and the beauty of Sanskrit as a mostly spoken language, as a strictly spoken language, Devanagari being the transliteration of it. This is the power of mantra. This is the power of the word. You speak it and it literally creates a physical structure, whether in the subtle, first in the subtle architecture of space-time, but then that has this cascade into reality. So that's how mantra works. It's why mantra is the number one remedy offered for like astrological issues. We can work with that. And the most beautiful thing about cymatics is its promise for spontaneous shift. So I look around the world right now and I am concerned about the way things are going. And one of the things to think about is like, what area of the cosmos are we going through where the prevailing vibrations are creating chaos on the planet, right? And there's a whole amazing set of data that shows how revolutions and riots and things are on a cycle with sunspots, where like the more sunspot activity there is, the more agitated the human population is as a whole. And so on one level, I take solace in that, like, this isn't about me. This isn't about the United States. This isn't about any of that, really. Like, we are, little dots of sand on a big Chladni plate in the cosmos being vibrated by huge forces way beyond our control. And we're just being agitated and traveling along the pathway that set of vibrations defines for us. And it can't be any other way. That's the structure of space and how time and flows through it. So that impersonal quality is like, great. I can relax around that. And I also want life to be good and fair and just for everybody. And so one of the ideas that I would offer to you in closing is that if you can imagine, okay, so the sun is zooming through space, and Earth and all the planets orbiting the sun as it zooms through space. So we're always like swimming into a different part of the ocean. And you've been in the ocean where there's like a cool spot and a hot spot, and it's not of uniform temperature. And so if we can equate water and space, safe to presume that the vibratory frequency shifts. Different areas of space, different vibratory frequencies. If you're right next to that black hole explosion event, that's going to have a very different frequency than wherever our solar system is, right? So as the sun zooms through space, maybe we're just in a spot right now that's in between middle C and D, for example, right? So we're in that messy place in between harmonic vibrations where the old story is no longer true. The old structures don't exist. We no longer have the sonic instructions to flow through those pathways. And so, but we haven't yet reached the next harmonic frequency that's going to give us new instructions and have us flow in nice, beautiful, geometric shapes. We're in that sort of chaotic middle place where we're all just little sand particles bouncing around on this plate, bouncing into each other, and it's kind of messy. So that's my story of the world. This is my offering to you of a multidimensional creation story from start to finish. And here we are. So that's it for section 5. And that's it for today's class. And so tomorrow we'll get deeper into some of the more practical applications. What do you actually do with this? How do you organize this in your own field? And how can you go out in the world and play the human game in a good way? So thanks for your attention thus far on the recording. I look forward to seeing you right soon. And to everybody that's here live, thank you so much for your time and attention and energy. And open it up for questions, comments, concerns, enthusiasm, just as we finish up here. Feeling good?
Wow. Wow. So much information.
Yeah, it's a lot of information. It's a big download.
Yeah.
It's a big download.
Yeah.
And hopefully it broke your brain in just the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And broke it open. And again, like I've been thinking about this. I finished this master's degree in 2018, and I've been presenting it quite frequently ever since then. And every time I present it, it's a little bit different. Every time there's this other angle, it's like, oh, I never thought about that before. And in preparing for this week, I got caught in so many wormholes. I can't tell you how. It's just go down 3 hours into this one little point, and it's like, wait, is that actually going to be part of this? No, but it's, so this is an infinite project, and it's a paradigm. It actually, what it is a paradigm. It's a lens through which to interpret perceivable reality, and it's a system of pattern recognition. So now that you've got the sort of the key to the pattern recognition, everything you see and experience out in the world can be fit into this model. And if not, please let me know. If you find something that deviates from this, that can't be explained somehow with this structure, please let me know, because I haven't found it yet. And that's just good science, right? We do science by questioning the science. So let's figure it out together. And so thanks for being in the experiment with me. And now I'm going to stop the recording.